this lesson, we're going to make reading the newspaper in English fun and easy because we're going to read it together and you're going to learn all the important vocabulary, grammar structures, and pronunciation that you need to know to understand the story. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, I'll read the headline. The employees secretly using AI at work. So this article is talking about artificial intelligence, AI. Now notice the headline, this isn't technically a full sentence. The employees secretly using AI at work. It's more of an incomplete sentence because it implies that this article is about the employees secretly using AI at work. That would be the full sentence. But in headlines, they often will delete information just to make it shorter. I wrote that for you. Now let's also talk about employees because sometimes I hear students confuse employees and employers. An employer, that is your company or your boss. The employer is the one who pays for the work to be done, who directs the work. The employee is the one doing the work. So they're the workers. So when you hear employer, think of a company or a boss. And when you hear employee, think of a worker. And hopefully that will help you not confuse these two. The employees secretly using AI at work. Now, secretly, this is an adverb because it modifies the verb. And when you do something secretly, it means that you don't tell anyone you're doing it, and you don't want anyone to know you're doing it either. I wrote that here for you. Now, the opposite of doing something secretly would be doing something openly. When you do something openly, everyone knows you're doing it. You don't try to hide it and you share it publicly. So there could also be employees who are openly using AI at work, which means their boss knows they're doing it. The other coworkers, employees know they're doing it. Everyone knows they're doing it. But secretly means you try to hide it. You don't want anyone to know. Now, don't worry about taking all these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF, so you can look for the link in the description. Let's continue with our lesson. Some employers, remember the employer is the company or the boss. Some employers are either tacitly or outright banning access to generative AI tools like chatgpt. So let's talk about tacitly and outright. First, let's talk about the verb to ban because some employers are banning access to chatgpt. When you ban something, in this case, the something is access to chatgpt, it means you don't allow it. So the company banned chatgpt, you are not allowed to use chatgpt. So some employers are either tacitly banning chatgpt. If they tacitly do it, it means they don't directly say it. So what would that mean? Maybe you're in a staff meeting and your boss says something like, chatgpt isn't appropriate for the workplace. But that isn't specifically saying you are not allowed to use chatgpt. So if you tacitly do something, you suggest it, but you don't directly say it. I don't think chatgpt is a good idea. ChatGPT might harm us. ChatGPT might do more harm than good. That would be tacitly. To outright ban ChatGPT, you would directly say it. So you would say, you are not allowed to use ChatGPT in the workplace. So that would be outright. So notice the difference there. And some employers are either tacitly or outright banning access to generative AI tools like ChatGPT. But employees, remember the workers, but employees who love them are finding ways to discreetly back channel. In this context, back channel means in a private way. So they're trying to find ways to use ChatGPT privately, which means secretly. Now, discreetly, when you do something discreetly, because this is an adverb as well, when you do something discreetly, you're trying to do it in a way that doesn't attract a lot of attention. And you're doing that usually because you don't want other people to know that you're doing it. If you attract attention, other people will realize what you're doing. So you want to do it discreetly. Both of these are just another way of saying that they're doing it secretly. The article is just using different ways to say the same thing. Since OpenAI launched ChatGPT in November 2022, companies have scrambled to keep its workplace use under control. So remember, companies, that represents the employers. So employers have scrambled. Companies have scrambled to keep its use, its workplace use. So workplace is being used as an adjective just to say its use in the workplace. Because you can have home use when you use ChatGPT at home, of course, but this is the workplace use under control. So let's take a look at to scramble. When you scramble to do something, so scramble is a verb. When you scramble to do something, it means you try to quickly do it, and it implies that there's some difficulty doing it. So you could say, I scrambled to finish the presentation. So you finished the presentation, but you had to do it very quickly, and there was some difficulty involved in it. So the companies have scrambled to keep its workplace use under control. So they've had to do it quickly just because ChatGPT was introduced and everybody started using it. And so now the employers have to quickly try to keep it under control. And it's proving to be difficult.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
Many organizations are concerned their data will be leaked. When information like data is leaked, it means that it's shared with the public or with others, but the person who owns the information doesn't want it to be shared. So it was shared publicly without permission. So this is one of the reasons why the companies, the employers, the organizations don't want the employees, the workers, to use ChatGPT because they're concerned their data, their information will be leaked, shared with the public when they don't want it to be. Yet many workers, employees, workers love the technology and have come to depend on it. Now, when you come to do something, it means you eventually do it after a period of time. So this implies that now the workers depend on it, which means that they feel like they have to use it. They're so comfortable using it. It helps them so much that it would be difficult for them to do the same work without it. That's when you depend on something. So day one, when ChatGPT was introduced, the workers didn't depend on it because it was only the first day. But after using it day after day for a period of weeks, months, now a year, now they've come to depend on it. So they now depend on it, but it happened after a period of time. So you might say in the comments, Jennifer, I've come to love your videos. So put that in the comments. Now this means you now love my videos, but it implies that this didn't happen
day one. The first time you watched my video, sure, you enjoyed it, you liked it, but after watching more of my videos, after a period of time, now you love the videos. I've come to love your videos. So put that in the comments if it's true. Jennifer, I've come to love your videos. And that would make me very happy. All right, so the employees, the workers, have come to depend on it, the it being ChatGPT. These are practical tools that make life easier. They can also aid with the technical tasks like coding and complete routine tasks that lighten employees' cognitive load and schedules. Okay, let's talk about lighten and then the load. Lighten the load. They're using this lighten because we talk about a workload in terms of being heavy or light. That's what I would use. I wouldn't say I have a small workload. I have a big workload. A native speaker doesn't say that. A native speaker says I have a light workload, which means not a lot of work. And then I have a heavy workload, which means a lot of work. And obviously this can change day by day. Oh, today I have a really heavy workload. And then you can explain all the tasks. So if you lighten the load, it means you go from heavy to light. You try to reduce the amount of work. I wrote those definitions here for you. Now you could say, I have such a heavy workload because you possess a workload. I have such a heavy workload. I need to lighten it. So you need to reduce the amount of work. All right, so that's what the employees feel that ChatGPT does for them. It reduces the amount of work. It lightens their workload because lighten is a verb. Berlin-based business consultant Matt. So Matt is a business consultant and he's based in Berlin, which means Berlin is where he operates. And so this is used as an adjective, Berlin-based business consultant Matt. All of this describes who Matt is. Matt is a consultant. What type of consultant? A business consultant. Where is he based? He's based in Berlin. He's a Berlin-based business consultant. What a title Matt has. Berlin-based business consultant Matt first at their workplace to discover ChatGPT. Mere weeks after its release. So listen to this. Mere weeks after its release. Mere is an adjective and it's simply used to emphasize that it wasn't a long time. So to emphasize not a long time. So you could say, I've been learning English for a mere 3 months. So you could say, I've been learning English for 3 months. But if you add for a mere 3 months, then you're just emphasizing that 3 months isn't a long time. So mere weeks after its release, very soon after its release. Another way is just saying only. That would be the equivalent modifier, emphasizer, only. Only weeks after its release, mere weeks after its release. He says the chatbot transformed their work days overnight. Now notice it transformed their work days. This is the something, and it happened overnight. When something happens overnight, it's used to say it happened very quickly. For example, I could say my channel blew up overnight, my YouTube channel. Now in this context, to blow up means to become very popular. So my channel became very popular overnight, which means it happened very quickly. One day, my channel was at 100,000 subscribers. And then, it doesn't have to be one day. It could be the next day, the next week, the next month. But in a short period of time, it's like, whoa, how did this happen? Now I have 3 times as many subscribers in a very short time, overnight.
So he says, remember, this Berlin-based business consultant, Matt, says the chatbot transformed their workdays overnight, very quickly. Day-to-day tasks in his fast-paced environment, such as researching scientific topics, gathering sources, and producing thorough presentations to clients. So these are all the examples of the day-to-day tasks. So day-to-day tasks, day-to-day just means routine. Tasks that you do routinely, tasks that you do every day. So routine tasks, daily tasks, day-to-day tasks, and then the examples of them suddenly became a breeze. So suddenly is actually a very good replacement for overnight. So I'll add this here. You could say very quickly. You can say suddenly as well. Because in this context, you would say day-to-day tasks became a breeze overnight. But if you added overnight, it would come after. You can say suddenly became a breeze, but if you wanted to use overnight, you could say became a breeze overnight. Now, what does became a breeze mean? A breeze. If you describe something as a breeze, it means it's very easy. So you could say, and hopefully you will, learning English with Jennifer is a breeze, because you need the verb to be here. Learning English with Jennifer is a breeze, which means it's very easy. Or Jennifer makes English a breeze, because most likely maybe you would, but just learning English is a breeze, which means very easy. Of course you can say that, but hopefully you'll say Jennifer makes English a breeze, very easy. And you could say Jennifer makes English or Jennifer makes learning English. Either one is fine. So if you think this, put it in the comments, because it will help you practice this expression and you'll be more likely to remember it if you put it in the comments and use it. So put it in the comments. Jennifer makes English a breeze. Hopefully you think that, and that's certainly what I try to do. The only catch: Matt and his colleague had to keep their use of ChatGPT a closely guarded secret. So here we already know what a secret is. It's information you don't want anyone to know. Now, a closely guarded secret just means that you don't tell anyone. Because when you have a secret, information you don't want the general public to know, but you still might tell your close friends, your family, your husband, your wife, even some of your coworkers, for example, but you just don't share it with everyone. You share it with specific people. But if you use closely guarded, and that's why I'm bringing it to me, because that's what it means. A closely guarded secret is maybe one person knows, maybe 0 people know. And so you want the information to be as close to you as possible. You don't want the information to be out there in the world. I wrote that definition for you. Now let's talk about the only catch, because this is the catch, that Matt and his colleague have to keep it a secret, a closely guarded secret. So the catch, this is used to say that you're turning something positive, because remember, using ChatGPT made their day-to-day tasks a breeze, and it did this overnight. So that's very positive. Imagine overnight your work became a lot easier and you had so much more time. That's a positive. But if you say, but there was a catch adds something negative to the situation. So the negative is that they have to do it secretly. They can't let their employer or their other employees, the fellow employees, know about it. So that's the catch. Let's continue. Whether the technology is explicitly banned. So explicitly, this is the opposite of tacitly. Do you remember tacitly from the beginning? Tacitly, remember, was tacitly. This is not directly. So it's suggested, but not directly said. So remember, your boss might say something like, I don't think ChatGPT is a good idea. But he didn't specifically say you can't use it. But in this case, if it's explicitly banned, that means directly. So your boss did say you are not allowed to use ChatGPT. So directly, clearly, it's written down on paper. Nobody can mistake it. But if something's tacit, it's easy to mistake because you could say, well, I didn't know you saying it's not a good idea meant that I'm not allowed to use it. I thought you were just sharing your opinion. So it's not very clear. But if something is explicitly banned, it's clear. It's written down. It's directly said to you. So whether the technology is explicitly banned, highly frowned upon. This is a good expression, to be frowned upon. When something is frowned upon, it means that someone doesn't like it, but they're not telling you you can't do it. For example, my boss frowns upon ChatGPT, but my company allows it. Because in a large organization, your boss doesn't necessarily make the company policies because your boss probably has 2 or 3 bosses as well. And so the overall company has a policy that says you are allowed to use ChatGPT. But your boss frowns upon it. So your boss doesn't like it, but you're still allowed to use it. But then it's an awkward situation for you because you know your boss doesn't like it. Technically, you are allowed to use it. So do you still use it? It's an awkward situation to be in sometimes when this is used in more social situations. Your husband, wife, mother, father, best friend could frown upon something you do, but they don't have control over your life, but you respect them and you want to make them happy. So do you not do the action because they frown upon it, or do you still do it? It's one of those difficult situations. Okay, so whether it's explicitly banned, frowned upon, or giving some workers a covert leg up. Covert is the same as secret. So if something is covert, you don't want the public to know. So you could say a secret leg up. A leg up is an advantage. So you could say, well, I'll just use this example because it's perfect. ChatGPT gives me a leg up. So something gives someone a leg up means an advantage. Some employees are searching for ways to keep using generative AI tools discreetly. We already know what discreetly means. Again, you could replace it with secretly and it would have almost the same meaning. According to one study, 75% of companies are currently considering or implementing bans. So in this case, ban is a noun. It has the same meaning, but as a noun, it would be the formal document, the piece of paper, or the policy on a website that says company or employees of this company are not allowed to use ChatGPT. So that would be the ban. It's talking about it as a something, most likely a document on the company website. So they're considering or implementing bans on ChatGPT and other generative AI applications in the workplace. Wow, 75%, that's a lot. But this was only one study and they only talk to a certain number of companies as well. So I don't know how accurate this is for the entire world, but what about you? Feel free to share in the comments if your company has banned ChatGPT.
Do they allow it? Do they frown upon it? Feel free to share that in the comments. I'd be really interested to know. While these bans may help companies keep sensitive information out of the wrong hands, so by saying out of the wrong hands in this case, well, hands belong to people. So out of the wrong hands means that the people who shouldn't have your information don't have it. So imagine that this is a list of people's credit card numbers, and this is not public information. Now, right now, it could be in the wrong hands because I have it and I'm going to sell it to the highest bidder. Of course, I would never do that. But that's what it means by out of the wrong hands, meaning the people who shouldn't have it don't have it. Some say keeping generative AI away from workers can backfire. If something backfires, it means it has an unintended negative consequence that is worse than the positive consequence you wanted. So what could be an unintended negative outcome or result of banning ChatGPT? Well, maybe some employees quit because they think that it's so useful to use ChatGPT, they don't want to work for a company that doesn't allow it. So that could be an unintended negative outcome. Your employees quit. Maybe they keep doing it secretly and it's even less secure because they're bringing documents home and they're doing it on their home computers that don't have the security protocols that the work computers have. So they have this ban that's supposed to make information safer, but it backfires because people are taking information home and it's actually creating more of a problem. So that is just an example of how it could backfire. So it had an unintended negative outcome. This is a very common expression as well. So that's the end of our article. Wow, there was a lot of very useful vocabulary in this article. I really suggest you watch this a few more times and download that lesson PDF and really practice this information because you will use these expressions all the time and hear native speakers using them as well. So now what I'll do is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. The employees secretly using AI at work. Some employers are either tacitly or outright banning access to generative AI tools like ChatGPT. But employees who love them are finding ways to discreetly backchannel. Since OpenAI launched ChatGPT in November 2022, companies have scrambled to keep its workplace use under control. Many organizations are concerned their data will be leaked, yet many workers love the technology and have come to depend on it. These are practical tools that make life easier. They can also aid with technical tasks like coding and complete routine tasks that lighten employees' cognitive load and schedules. Berlin-based business consultant Matt and his colleague were among the first at their workplace to discover ChatGPT, mere weeks after its release. He says the chatbot transformed their workdays overnight. Day-to-day tasks in his fast-paced environment, such as researching scientific topics, gathering sources, and producing thorough presentations to clients, suddenly became a breeze. The only catch? Matt and his colleague had to keep their use of ChatGPT a closely guarded secret. Whether the technology is explicitly banned, highly frowned upon, or giving some workers a covert leg up, some employees are searching for ways to keep using generative AI tools discreetly. According to one study, 75% of companies are currently considering or implementing bans on ChatGPT and other generative AI applications in the workplace.
While these bans may help companies keep sensitive information out of the wrong hands, some say keeping generative AI away from workers can backfire. So did you enjoy this lesson? Do you want me to make more lessons where we review the news together? If you do, then put leg up in the comments. And you're putting leg up in the comments because learning English with the news gives you a leg up. And remember, that means an advantage. So that's why you're putting leg up in the comments. Leg up, put it in the comments, and I'll keep making lessons just like this. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look in the link for the description. And you can keep improving your English. You can keep getting a leg up with this lesson right now.